Hey, it's Uncle Dan. This is the video I'm going to do about the equipment that I took actually with me in the camping at Moccasin Creek State Park. Real quick, I had someone suggest that when you're installing the Reflectix into your windows, that you could take like a thin piece of plastic or something, maybe like a plastic knife or something that you can actually take the Reflectix and poke it down behind the plastic molding on the inside of your vehicle, and you won't have to use tape that way. That would be another way to hold it in securely, and you don't have to worry about sticky tape. So I like that idea. I didn't mention it in the last video, but I wanted to clarify that. Okay, so I want to start off first with the food, then with the bedding, the other gear, um, and just real quick what I took. So hopefully this will be something that everyone can understand. All right, so started here. The food bin, just took it in a tote. I had 3 totes total with different stuff in them, and I'm going to go through each one. In this tote, for breakfast, you can take cereal. I took 2 different types of cereal in each of these boxes, so I have 4 different cereals for variety. And also, if you can see, I used these Pyrex. You can cook in them. You can eat the breakfast cereal out of them. You can heat soup in them, and I'll show you what I did to do that. Also for lunch, there is these snacks that you don't need to refrigerate, and it does not need to be heated up or anything. That's easy. I ate little snacks like these. This is just the food that's left over. I had a whole bunch more. I took too much. These are good. The Belvitas are good. As you're walking, you can pull these out of your pocket and get a little bit of a snack in to where your tummy don't hurt. Of course, Oreos are legal, I believe, in all 50 states. So what I did is, how do I cook my lunch? I like these bars too. I'll show you this. Crunch Fit. Some people have different. There's a whole bunch of different types of bars you can have for hikers. This is what I use to help clean up the dishes. You can use it to clean up the top of your soups for lunch. I like this Amy. This was recommended by a family member, a couple, and it's good. I believe it's good quality stuff. They're telling me that this is one of the best canned soups that you can have, without the different chemicals and stuff like that are in some foods that are grown in the United States. Of course, I take candy because I'm addicted to sugar. I love Reese's. I even take little pieces of honey. This is honey in here. It's good to eat. These are some coffee. I have a family member that lives in Europe, and they send me candy that tastes awesome that we cannot get here. I don't know if this is here anywhere, but I think originally this came from Japan. It's awesome. I take cookies, something I don't have to refrigerate, don't have to cook. Crackers, all kinds of different crackers in the different grocery stores. So how did I heat up my soup? I was told you want to have 2 different ways of cooking your food, which is smart. Well, one way you could have an electric skillet. If you're at a campground and you have electricity, just take your 25-foot. This is a 14 gauge extension cord, and it works great for about everything I needed at the campground. I also have with me a 3 plug strip. You can plug in a cell phone. I'll show you my electric blanket, and then a hair dryer as a heater before going to sleep. Anyway, back to me cooking my canned soup. So what I did is I bought one of these ovens. This one is from Academy Sports, and I attached this Coleman. This was actually given to me by another family member. This is just Coleman propane. This oven comes with this plastic piece that goes on the bottom, and it makes it more stable to sit on a table or a flat surface. There's a knob that helps you, and there's instructions. Always read the instructions. Never have this on inside of an enclosed tent or vehicle. Just always have it cooking it outside. It simply screws into the top. You have the volume for how much gas you want to come out. I would turn it up to light it with my lighter like this. This is a flame or wind resistant flame. And then I would just simply, the fire would come out here, obviously. I would take my 12 cup coffee maker. I would open it up. First I would add water up to about right here from the water that's provided there at each campsite in a state park campground. There's a maximum level right here. I don't know if you could read that, but when you get it, just don't go up that far. Okay, so I would add water to it, put it on there, let the water let the water heat up, and then, this was my cool idea, I would take a Pyrex, and I would open up, I would clean the top of my soup, I would put it in here. This is a 500 milliliter Pyrex. And once my soup was in here, I would open this lid. Of course, you could experiment on how far you want to fill it with water, so whenever you inserted this, it doesn't overflow. Of course, you don't want that all over your stove. I put this on equal all the way around, so it's on there stable. My soup is in there, and it heats up. You can close the lid that far if you want. If you wanted to, you can cover aluminum foil if you're afraid leaves or something might fall in there. And you just simply take a metal spoon. This handle holds it on one side, and this pour spout holds it on the other side, and you sit there and you stir it. This is like a double burner for those cooks out there that know how to melt down chocolate without burning it. This is the same thing. I will not burn my food in this method. And this is something I thought up. I liked it, and I think I'm always going to do it this way when I'm heating up soup. Also, because I like variety, I get little meals like this. I just dump the contents in here, not while it's on the stove, but I take this, put it on the ground or the bench or something flat surface, put my food in there, and then put it on the water after. So that way I don't have problems with water or food spilling down all over the cooker. But this worked real well. I would just stir it. I would adjust my heat if I needed to. If the water starts to boil, I would just lower it down a little bit. But that worked well. Just saying. Everything works real well with that. I also had another idea where to carry my eggs, I took a funnel like this. I cleaned it real well. And I put 4 eggs into a bottle like this that has the large top. And it fits right in there. Of course, it was empty. There was no other product in there like Gatorade. But it allowed me to carry the 4 eggs in this bottle in a cooler to the campsite and not worry about breaking eggs. You can fit probably a whole dozen eggs into this container. Some people would like to add a little bit of milk. So if you're going to eat 4 eggs, add a little bit of milk with your 4 eggs. You can shake it up if you want. You can break them up before you put them in here, however you want to do it. But this large spout funnel that I got, it's actually for a radiator funnel. It works great, and you could take it with you and use it maybe for, funneling milk or something else into, like if you're going to bake a pie or something, or a cake out there. This is the cooler I used. It's just a small igloo. Works great. It worked great for me. My idea was to take these full bottles of water that I got at Costco. I put them in the freezer for about an hour before going, and then once I put them in here, they were staying cold. I had my eggs in this, and then I had my eggs were in this, and then I had in this little thermos, I put some, I had stirred up beets, and just one slice of beet, some kale, some fruit, and almond milk, and I blended it up, and then I put it in here, and that was really good nutrition, for my hike. I drank that on the first morning after we got there. So I kept it in the cooler overnight and drank it before our big hike into Tallulah Gorge. It worked well. I survived. I also took utility water. It's just not really needed. They have water there at the campsite. But what I did is after I emptied the bottle, I drank all the water out of one. Here at the home, my wife put an X on the lid, filled it up with my water out of my kitchen sink, and I took 5 bottles of this, just to use to wash hands or rinse off my hands, if I had sticky on them or whatever. And then I had 5 bottles that were in the freezer and put them in this cooler, and it fit just fine. Also took some almond milk. Here I put some almond milk jug here for the cereal that we talked about earlier. And that worked real well. I ate out of my Pyrex. So I ate my eggs. After my family member cooked eggs, I ate them out of this Pyrex. I ate cereal after cleaning it. I washed it. And I ate my soup. Everything I ate out of Pyrex. I did take along 2 other Pyrex I found that have these lids. There's slots on some of the sides of the Pyrex. And then you get a full pour hole, and then you have another screen, and then there's the block, complete block. But that fits on there. That's that material that's very flexible. I believe it's even hit resistant. Nothing to probably have problems with damaging it. I took 2 more of these, not needed. I took these expandable, and you can expand them out, And then you can also twist it. But I thought maybe if I wanted to have hot dogs, I can cook them over this flame if I wanted to. I took 3 of them just in case my family members wanted to use them that were there. But we actually didn't. Some of this food I did put, like the stuff the Jell-O and the fruit, the cookies, the crackers, I took with us in a backpack right there. And that's what I used actually for hiking. And I took a bottle of water or 2, and it worked great. The hair dryer. I want to talk about this hair dryer. It's my wife's hair dryer. I absconded with it for this trip, and I used it to defrost my fingers and toes and ears after I took a shower and before I went to bed. I took my shoes off after showering, and I defrosted them, and I just plugged it into that power cord that we talked about, and it was great. And then of course I don't leave it on when I'm sleeping. I turned it back off, and it was wonderful. I want to talk more about bedding, but I want to show you these lights real quick. Bought these lights. It's 3 different levels of brightness, and then over here is a bug zapper. Yeah, you can have a bug zapper. These are rechargeable. I got 2, and here's the power cords that you could recharge them. Of course, plugging them into my power strip. These 2 little lights last the whole time when I needed them. Going to the bathroom in the middle of the night or whatever, and they work great. I hung them. They got a little hanger here that folds in, and this folds down, but this works great. This is the brand. You could probably find them on Amazon. Probably find them at Academy Sports or Cabela's, places like that. I liked it. I'm going to show you this, my bedding. This is the electric blanket that I took. Plugs here. I plugged it into my electric cord, just straight from the campsite. And you have 3 settings. This is what it looks like. There's 3 settings. You just push this gray button, and I just kept it on low. It was fine. Worked great. I also had this wool blanket. This is, you can get wool blankets from camping places, but this particular one came from the United States Army. I bought it at an Army Navy surplus store after leaving the service with my honorable discharge. So that was good to have around my feet. And then I always uncover my feet at night, so I wrap my feet in this, and then I used the electric blanket. And then I had another. This was a t-shirt style sheet. This is a queen size, and you could use some of it to cover up with. It's so big and bulky, you could, place it under your head, however you want to do it. It's just a multi-use, have it used anywhere. I did use these little foam tail gear pads. You could put your head on these. You can put this underneath your hips or whatever. It might be like a pressure point when you're laying in the vehicle. And I also had these this is a lumbar support. It works great. I have a second lumbar support that I use while driving. You can use this to put between your knees, or you can stack them together and put them between your knees. These pillows we used in an airplane ride, a jet ride, when we went to Amsterdam back in early 2019 and in 2018. So I had 3 of them to use. This is like a memory foam. The other one's a little bit squishier, so you might have to really check them out whenever you're going to purchase some if you want to use them, because they're not all the same. I also used this as an extra foam. It's just a seat cover. And of course, these are heavy duty stakes. I was planning to use these for a awning that I attached these tarps to the side of my vehicle with clamps, and then have them strung out over poles using the eyelets in the corners. They have these eyelets right here in the corners, and then stake them down with these heavy duty stakes. These will last forever and don't have to worry about them bending. I did take some extra oil. This is just refilled from a big jug of full synthetic oil that I bought, and just refill the small jugs and take them only. Moving on, I'm going to show you something I developed for a emergency toilet. Of course, I did not use it, didn't need to. I hope I never have to use it, but this is just a 5-gallon bucket I bought. You can reuse a bucket that you might have. I had this snap-on lid that you buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. You snap this ring on the top of the lid, and then this is threaded, and it has a gasket up here that you can multi-use a bucket to store stuff and seal it up by threading it on the top. So what I did is I used this as an emergency toilet. And I'll show you what my contents were. First, you get these bags, portable toilet replacement bags. This is what it looks like. It's thicker than a trash bag. It's not as big as a kitchen trash bag, but it's thicker. So you can place it in the bucket, like so. Add some kitty litter into here for moisture absorption. And then you could cut this foam. You have some of this, it's sliced already here, and you can just fit it over this for comfort of seating. Or you can purchase one of these bucket toilet seats. That just snaps onto the top of it, okay? You raise the lid. You can get seated, and then you have your toilet paper. I put some rubber gloves in here. Hopefully you never have to do this. And then, of course, there is baby wipes. There's a product called Dude Wipes. It's just like this. This is the Dude Shower. But, this baby wipes from from the grocery store. You get a whole lot more and it's less expensive. And then once you get through, you tie this up, okay? And you can place it into another, you know, for discreetness, you can put it into another one of these bags, tie it up, and then discard of it into the proper trash receptacles. So this is just emergency toilet setup. I don't think that I probably will ever use it because I most likely will be at a campsite, state park, and but it is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So that's what I have there. This is the one of the 3 totes. Shoes, extra shoes, flashlight. You know, make sure you have extra batteries. I kept my spare batteries in my first aid kit. You can have some simple tools, at least something like this. This is cheap, but you can have in the handle the Phillips head sizes and the flat head sizes. I actually have a couple different one of those. You can have something like a small bit of vice grips, another multi-tool. This one came from Lowe's. The Cobalt multi-tool. They're all very similar in design. I took a hammer in here as well, some gloves. There's the emergency kitty litter. I have electric tape, electrician's tape, hammer for driving in those stakes. Okay, never used it, but I had it. Have some extra batteries for my small flashlight in here, and Ziploc bags protect your other products from getting battery acid on them if they do leak, and also protects the battery from getting wet or possibly any kind of corrosives on the contacts. So you have different, you know, a couple different kind of. Here's a flat. There's a Phillips head long. This is another multi screwdriver that's got the pieces. This is from Cobalt. Have the different types of heads in there. You just pop the cap on the end and then insert it into here. So you have those. I have a couple different needle nose pliers. These 2 are needle nose. Mainly working on a vehicle, or if you have some wire or something you have to bend and then, you know, cut off. This has cutters on it. This one just is needle nose pliers. An extra large plastic bag, you know, could be for trash or, you know, multiple uses for those. I did bring one kukri, or you could bring a hatchet for processing firewood if you need it. I just brought the kukri, and you can use that with mainly just getting small sticks and stuff. You're not wanting to cut down a tree or anything, but I mean, I guess you could, but that would be a whole lot of work because it's very light. But the blade is good for just cutting off tree limbs that are on the ground. If you're if you're in a state park, you probably want to be very careful not to harm anything, any vegetation of any sort. But if you're on your own land and you're camping, then of course you can process wood for burning. I'll talk briefly. I have another pair of gloves right here. This was my cap that I put on my head when I was sleeping to keep my head from getting excessively cold. In this box, I had trash bags and small bags and an extra jug to move water if I needed to. I never needed it. I'm glad. Here, I have these Stanley 450 amp Fat Max battery. It's a jump starter. It's a USB. You have a little light on the front of it. It's a multi-use jump starter. A lot of people have different models. This is an older one. I bought a new battery that goes on the inside off Amazon or eBay. You can buy them either way. And instead of buying another one of these for $100, I just bought the battery and put it in. It's easy. Take the screws out of the bottom. This one I was given by my family member that was at the campsite with us. And they said that it does hold a charge. I mean, you can have some charge on there, but it doesn't hold it very well, and it doesn't perform well. So this one I could just simply put another battery in, and I would have two to use to run my little fan. Have a little fan. You turn on the USB after plugging it in, and you have a fan to use. That was, if I needed to move air. I did not need it on this trip. Right here, I have some other electric fans. They're small. I did not use them either, but I just simply plug them into this electric cord that's plugged into the power at the campsite. I'm going to show you. This is my shower shoes. I clean them after I get out of the shower. I put my shoes back on and I clean these with hot water so I can store them into my camper with no problem of worrying about contaminating any of my belongings with stuff that was on the bottom of them in the shower. So just hygiene. Put all my clothes in this little suitcase. Put my toothbrush in a plastic bag. It takes a little bottle of Listerine, all that kind of stuff. Just put it in the front pocket. My clothes were in this compartment. Any paperwork you might need. Hand sanitizer if you want to quick get to the hand sanitizer here. Maybe you can put a pocket knife in there. Anything you might buy, like postcards or something, you can throw in here. Extra bags for trash. Handy little thing. I used this actually the first time when I went to visit family in Europe, and it was great. They live there, and they're blessed and fortunate to be there. So I'm glad that they're enjoying it. I took this life gear. It's like a first aid kit and has some other stuff like a reflective mirror and all that. Didn't use it. I bought this years ago when I had my, raising children. Thought if we ever needed it for like emergency kits, my medical kits. It just has like, a small tarp, different things in here. But if you want to look that up, it's called Life Gear. I bought it at Costco. I'm going to turn this off. I found that these power inverters, you can get this at Lowe's, Home Depot, plugs into your cigarette lighter or outlet there in the vehicle, and then you have two USBs and a regular 110. Also, I found this one. This is a 300 watt power inverter. Let me see if you can see that. I'm sure that in the future you're going to have all kind of neat gadgets, but this is what we had in 2020. This has screw connections, like plastic nuts that have a metal contact, and you can screw on the ability to clamp this onto your battery, or you could clamp on this and use it inside the vehicle using your cigarette lighter like this one. I took both inverters. I have 1, 2, 3 things to plug in using these if I want to use my vehicle, or I can use that power cord over there and just plug into the power at the campground right there. Okay, this is important and serious. This is Bear Attack Deterrent Spray. This is the brand that I bought. I bought two, and I got a holster with both. I had a family member that had some and did not have a holster that would be able to quickly deploy this from their belt on their body. So I gave them my other holster. I keep this one in my backpack when I go on trails, and this one's on my holster, and I use this. Find out how to use the bear deterrent spray that you purchase if you're in an area where there are bears or animals that could harm your body. I do know that this is for bears only, but if I come across another animal or being that I feel poses harm, I will do all I can to remove myself from the situation. But if I am forced, I will use this on anything and anyone that poses harm to me, as a self-defense, a last resort self-defense. It's an easy thing to take. It's non-lethal. And if I do see someone is being attacked by a bear, I will use this to spray the bear. If the people are with me and I'm trying to get the bear away from them. If you do spray another human with it, it is an irritant, but it won't kill them. But a bear most likely would harm them way worse than this spray. So if you're hiking with me, just know if you're being attacked, I will use this on the bear. And I found this, just a cardboard box that had dividers, and I thought it was neat. I have utility paper towels if I'm working on a vehicle. I have Fix-A-Flat. I use picaridin insect repellent. You can buy this at Cabela's. I know Cabela's and Walmart. I have any kind of sunscreen if you are in a sunny area. I have some extra hand sanitizers. I refill these. It's not the original. I use the bottle that my wife had and just refill them because she throws them away. Safety glasses if I'm working on something, especially under a vehicle or around, like anything that could project any particles around gas or anything. Put these on to prevent things from hurting my eyeballs. Your eyeballs are the most sensitive organ, and any injury to the eyeball is a serious injury. Always know that. Here's a brand new bottle of picaridin and aerosol. Don't want to run out of it, so I keep extra. This is my Listerine. It actually needs to go over here this goes in here with my toothbrush and my toothpaste. This is Dawn dishwashing liquid diluted into this little spray bottle my wife was going to throw away. And I use this to clean my Pyrex and my flatware after using it, eating my food. Here is a couple of little candles that have a lid on them. I didn't need it. I don't think I'll ever use it. But if I need a little candle, maybe setting it on the camp, if it's a stone camp or concrete camp table, picnic table, then it'd be nice to maybe have some candles out. Otherwise, you have the lanterns and stuff that you can use on any wooden tables. And then here's another bottle, a brand new unused bottle of the Coleman gas. And of course, because I'm a maniac, I sip a little apple cider vinegar. This helps in digestion, especially after eating meats. But this is good for you. You should probably have this at least once a week. It wouldn't hurt you to have it every day. Most people, I think, would benefit from it. Read about this company, Bragg. There's a lot of people in the, the healthy area of the internet that recommend having apple cider vinegar. This is my favorite brand. So there is my backpack. This is what I carried. Carried food in there. There was some beef jerky. Never opened this. I had a candy bar left over. This is actually chocolate peanut butter that gives you a lot of protein on your walk. Take a little headache medication, ibuprofen or Tylenol, Advil. These are extra bags. This is how I process or how I pack my apples. Okay, so I just take an apple, wash it thoroughly, even with dish soap. Dry, rinse it off thoroughly. I wrap it in a paper towel, and then I put it in a plastic Ziploc bag. So when I'm on the trail, I pull it out of my backpack. I use the paper towel to hold it, even if I have disgusting hands, or the bag in case I have wet hands and disgusting hands, and I can still enjoy nutritional snack while on the camp trail. That worked real well for me. I love it. All the stuff down here, I had an emergency blanket. Took it with me. Hopefully I never have to use this. And this was just like a trash bag to put your apple core, your plastic bag. You can put maybe some toilet paper, I think, is in there. Here's a watch. I don't think I'll need it, but I had it just in case. This is the sleeping bag that I took. I never used it because the electric blanket and the wool blanket and this t-shirt style sheet was just enough for me to use. Okay, so one last container that I took. This is my third tote. Here's the tape I used to tape up the Reflectix material. But of course, we talked about that. You don't really need that. I took some multivitamins. I had 3 left. I took 1 a day. Here's my flatware. I took 1 metal spoon, 1 metal fork. These little kits, if you want to eat food, maybe like applesauce or something, you don't need it's not too cold, not too hot. You can use these. You can get them about anywhere. On our way back, we did stop at the Chicken Salad Chick in Athens, Georgia. It was wonderful. It was a fun time, and it was the only meal that we did not cook ourselves or prepare ourselves or take on the trip for our camping meals. This is just a utility box. You have some damp rid. I had some extra rope. These are my clamps that I was going to use to hold the tarp on as an awning on the side of the vehicle. Here's some extra paper towels in here for wiping my hands if they got wet. Had some LED, what are these little miniature lights? Didn't use them. I have an extra super light. You can also charge this up and then use it to charge your phone with USB right here. Didn't use it. There's extra magnets to hold that screen on top of my sunroof of my vehicle. Didn't use it. Here is the drinking water hose. Didn't use it. Bungee cords. Didn't use it. This is the charging cord for the light. Okay, the life straw. It's good to have this. I probably should have this in my backpack. But I took a bottle of water and it was just, a couple mile loop. So this is important to have good clean water. So this is something you might want to keep in my backpack, or I want to keep in my backpack from now on. Watch a video, learn how to use it properly. Don't get sick. This is just an extra utility bottle. Didn't use it, didn't need it. And this was another plug. It's a multi, you plug this in and you can have 3 things coming off of it, but don't overload a circuit so it flips, trips a breaker, because then you have to go out there and reset the breaker. But this is had it, didn't need it. Utility scissors, didn't need it. Another piece of rope, utility line. Maybe you can put up, use it for putting up the tarp, something like that. Didn't need it. This is a shower liner, just a plastic liner. Didn't need it. Some more rope. Didn't need it. Probably won't take that stuff on my next trip, but it was there. And that's all on this video. This is all this stuff that I had that I put in the SUV to make it to an RV. Didn't need a lot of it, but some stuff you just want to make sure you do have food, enough bedding to keep you warm, and a way to cook. 2 different ways to cook food. Remember that. 2 different ways to cook your food, or just take food that doesn't need to be cooked, like we talked about the chicken salad and the little crackers. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this long video. I hope you benefited from that somehow. And I guess we'll talk to you later. God bless. Bye-bye.